Operation Epic Fury.
The Kremlin just admitted something extraordinary. Russian spokesman Dmitry Peskov declared, and I quote, "It feels to us like the world is ending now." So let that sink in, folks. This as American B-1B Lancers rain fire on Iranian nuclear facilities in Operation Epic Fury. As our Gulf allies shoot Iranian drones out of the sky, our enemies are panicking. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you. Well, Putin's cronies cry about the collapse of their so-called international order. President Trump is doing exactly what he promised. He's putting America first. And tonight, I'll show you why the establishment on both sides of the globe is absolutely terrified. And here's why this matters for you and your family right now. Those B-1B bombers, fully loaded and launching from Days Air Force Base in Texas. And they're eliminating the Iranian nuclear threat that's endangering American lives for decades. Yes, oil, it just spiked past $116 a barrel. You'll feel that at the pump, but what's the alternative? Nuclear-armed Iran holding the entire world hostage? Ballistic missiles raining down on Qatar, our ally right now? The UAE is scrambling Apache helicopters to shoot down Iranian attack drones over the Persian Gulf as we speak. This is real. This is happening. And while our brave men and women execute this mission flawlessly, domestic terrorists are planting IEDs in New York City. 3 explosive devices found, one containing TATP. That's the same explosive used in major terrorist attacks worldwide. The enemies of America are everywhere, foreign and domestic. And President Trump, he's not just fighting one war, he's fighting to save the republic on every single front. And speaking of national security threats that the legacy media refuses to cover, there is a developing story out of Washington that you need to hear, because this story is one they don't want you to see. As Iran destabilizes the Middle East, the federal government just made a move that could reshape America's security posture for generations. And here's the truth. Our nuclear submarines, our warheads, our next-gen power grid, our aircraft carriers, all of it depends on uranium, and we import almost every single pound of it. It's not about energy independence. It's about survival, because a nation that can't power its own military doesn't stay free for long. That's why smart patriots are paying attention to atomic minerals, trading as ATMMF in the United States and ATOM in Canada. As America moves to secure domestic uranium supplies, companies positioned in this space could see some massive growth. Do your own research. You'll find a full briefing that's been prepared just for Next News viewers down below. But understand, energy security is national security. Now let's get back to the absolute chaos erupting across the globe as President Trump delivers on his promises. But here's what has the establishment losing their minds tonight. While Russia whines about the death of their precious international law, the same international law they violated for years, President Trump met with Gold Star families at Dover. You know what they told him? Please win this for my child. That's the mission. That's what this is about. It's not about Putin's feelings. It's not about the globalist order. American families who've sacrificed everything. And folks, wait to see what Chuck Schumer just accidentally admitted on camera. We've got all the details. Here's some of the footage from the B-1 Lancers, long-range heavy bombers with the U.S. Air Force 7th Bomb Wing, based out of Days Air Force Base, Texas, taking off fully loaded with afterburners. Check this out, man. America is back, baby. Here's some of that footage that's coming in right now. Let me make sure we get full audio in case there was anything missing here for you. One moment. Get that audio. Why does this always happen right in the middle of a segment? Okay, let's get that started all over here. Here's the clip. Here's the audio. It's coming in. There's the audio. That's what we want you to hear. The beautiful sound of afterburners spinning up in the moment. Take a look. So all is quiet until those afterburners kick in. Pilots getting ready, gearing up. Look at those beautiful B-1 Lancers. Those are some of the most beautiful aircraft in our entire fleet. And I know you agree with me. All systems checks occurring. Look at that beast. Getting ready to rain fury down on Iran. Live ordnance on board. Afterburners ready to ignite. There it is. Look at those afterburners. Look at that sight. That is a beautiful sight. But not if you live in Iran right now. As B-1 bombers launched the initial strikes, Iran's immediate response shows the conflict is already spreading beyond their borders. Here's some video from the UAE Ministry of Defense releasing footage showing the Emirati Air Force Apache attack helicopters using M230 chain guns, shooting down multiple Iranian one-way attack drones over the Persian Gulf. More footage surfacing.
Destroy. Target destroy. Target destroy.
Those drones,
Target destroyed.
those drones will not be reaching their targets.
Target destroyed.
Target destroyed, sir. Kill, sir. Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
Target destroyed. Target destroyed.
That is from the Ministry of Defense of the UAE. No, not video game footage. With Iranian drones swarming the Gulf, the violence is now reaching civilian targets across the region. At least 8 explosions and several ballistic missiles intercepted. See, look at that. Intercepted ballistic missile right there. One after another, ballistic missiles getting shot out of the sky. Iran has no offensive at all against the defensive weapons that we have to defeat their ballistic missiles. The missile strikes on Qatar are sending shockwaves through global energy markets in real time. Crude prices. This is where people are going to start to get nervous. OSIP Defender crude prices are exploding right now. Crude up over 10 points in the last few hours, continuing to rise. 116 a barrel as the ongoing war in the Middle East shows no sign of ending soon. Now, I do want to point out that despite the term no sign of it ending soon, this is a limited engagement. The president only has the constitutional authority to strike for 60 days, and that's the law. And then he can ask for a 30-day extension. Congress has to grant that extension. So President Trump has to get this whole thing buttoned up in 60 days. So this disruption clearly is a little nerve-wracking for a moment, but remember, it's limited engagement. So as the oil prices strike past 116 a barrel, Trump is doubling down on his military strategy despite the economic pain. President Trump says oil prices linked to epic fury, a very small price to pay for U.S. and world safety and peace. This is what the president posted. Short-term oil prices, which will drop rapidly when the destruction of the Iranian nuclear threat is over, is a very small price to pay for the United States and world safety and peace. Only fools would think differently. President Donald J. Trump. So while Trump justifies the economic costs, he's also making this deeply personal with grieving military families. We're going to get to those remarks first. We're going to talk about what just happened with Peskov and what he said. This is Vladimir Putin's spokesperson. It feels like the world is ending right now. From Russia's own power circles describing something unprecedented, the complete breakdown of the international order that we've known for decades. Well, welcome to the MAGA world order, bitches.
Unfortunately, we have all lost what we call international law. To be honest, I cannot even call on anyone to follow international law norms and principles anymore. It is effectively gone. It exists de jure, but de facto it is gone. And frankly, it's unlikely anyone can say what law has replaced international law. You can only, speculate on the subject politically, but no one can give a clear definition. That's why Putin is right. Against the backdrop of this perfect storm that started, we need to focus on ourselves, our interests, and our potential. Wherever it might be lacking, we need to build.
Now, those were the words of Dmitry Peskov. Let me see if I have the full remarks. I know I have them here. Let me just find them real quick. Oh, you saw my picture with me and Trump. There you go. How do you like that? I know I've got the video. Here it is. Let's see if we can get that to
Other
play.
parts of the world reaching into more and more regions.
Well, stranger things occurred in human history.
Such powerful weapons never existed.
Well, it's just that we weren't around back then, so it feels to us like it's the end of the world. But the fact of the matter is, there has been a significant regional destabilization, and we are now witnessing this cumulative effect from a great many regional conflicts and unresolved problems, which are now resulting in economic consequences, as well as political consequences. Unfortunately, we have all lost what we call international law. To be honest, I cannot even call on anyone to follow international law norms and principles anymore. It is effectively gone. It exists de jure, but de facto it is gone. And frankly, it's unlikely anyone can say what law has replaced international law. You can only, speculate on the subject politically, but no one can give a clear definition.
You can keep on crying
That's why
all
Putin
day long. The fact of the matter is, there's a new world order. No, not the new world order that everyone talks about in the conspiracy theories. I'm talking about the Trump world order. I'm talking about the MAGA world order, and that is what we are living through right now. So we're going to get to what happened at Dover. President Trump revealed an incredible conversation he had with Gold Star families regarding Iran. They told him, please win this for my child, because Trump cares about our military families. No, he wasn't checking his watch. Remember when Joe Biden did that?
Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. That this playback will be completely silent. There is no recording, no audio recording accompanying this video. That's why it seems a little still. No audio recording, just the video.
So there you see some of our service men returning home for their final resting. Now, President Trump's been criticized for wearing his hat during this moment. Not sure if the criticism is warranted or not. Maybe you guys can weigh in. But you can't see it because it's too bright, but his hat says USA in this moment as he pays his respects.
As we continue to watch the President, the First Lady, and the Vice President at Dover Air Force Base, I want to bring in Lieutenant Colonel.
So some of the moments from this weekend. And then we have as well explosive devices removed from a vehicle in New York City. Multiple IEDs in New York City show how this foreign conflict is now threatening domestic security.
Avenue right near East 79th Street, and just behind me between 81st and 82nd Streets are where the NYPD located a suspicious device and safely removed it. I'm going to step out of the way and give you guys a better view. That device was found inside a vehicle believed to belong to two suspects now in federal custody. So to recap, a total of 3 devices have been recovered in this neighborhood since yesterday afternoon. 2 of the devices were ignited and thrown yesterday during dueling protests near Gracie Mansion, where New York City Mayor Zohra Mamdani lives. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But we've learned from high-level sources that one of the devices contained a powerful explosive known as TATP. Fox News contributor Paul Morrow says this is an explosive that has been used in other high-profile, deadly terrorist attacks across the globe.
New York City got extremely lucky yesterday. TATP is enormously volatile. It is not very stable. It's extremely powerful. And it is the footprint, and if you go by past events, of serious bombing attacks. The London 7/7 attacks, Richard Reed's attempt on a plane.
Amir Balat and Ibrahim Qayyumi are now reportedly in federal custody being interviewed by the FBI in connection to the devices. Our Bill Malusian has learned that Balat's parents are naturalized U.S. citizens from Turkey and Qayyumi's parents are naturalized citizens from Afghanistan. One of the suspects was captured saying this as he was taken into custody.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Yes,
As you know, a fatwa has been issued. These folks, terrorists, likely responding to that call. So as authorities deal with potential terrorist attacks at home, Trump is simultaneously pushing through his voter registration. We'll talk about that in a moment. The third IED device discovered in New York City. Authorities say investigators have identified it connected to the incident in New York. The device was constructed using TATP. And then we also have this. Protests against the communist regime in Cuba have intensified over the past few days. So as we have been tracking the situation in Cuba, as you know, Lindsey Graham also stated that Cuba is next. They're experiencing severe and long-term blackouts, which is destabilizing that nation. And Schumer just admitted the Save America Act would purge illegal voters from the rolls. He's melting down. This also critical to the survival of our republic by saving this bill.
Until the SAVE Act passes. That means the president's asking for total gridlock. The SAVE Act will not pass because it is such a pernicious, nasty piece of legislation. The SAVE Act is Jim Crow 2.0. More than 20 million people would lose their right to vote. And you would need...
I think it's funny. 20 million people would lose their right to vote. Isn't that the same exact number that we've been saying is the number of illegals that have been flooding into this country? Yep. Chuck Schumer just said the quiet part out loud.
To register either a passport or your original birth certificate. How many people have that? How many people have that? It would eliminate
So keep on crying, Chuck Schumer. Schumer's tears, always so delicious. Now here is the truth the establishment doesn't want you to understand. Russia admits international law is dead. Says Putin is right that the old order has collapsed. And you know what? He is correct, but not for the reasons that he thinks. The old order, where America paid for everyone's security, where our enemies built nuclear weapons, that's gone. The old order where illegal votes diluted your voice. Chuck Schumer just admitted the SAVE Act would purge millions from the voter rolls using Elon Musk's system. He called it pernicious. Translation, it works. Meanwhile, Cuba's communist regime is facing massive protests. Freedom is rising everywhere. President Trump isn't ending the world. He's ending the corrupt system that has robbed Americans for generations. Now, I'll leave you with this, patriots. Donald Trump doesn't answer to Chuck Schumer. He doesn't answer to Vladimir Putin. He doesn't bow to the globalist elite or their precious international order. He answers to you, the American people. And to those Gold Star families who begged him to win, yeah, that's exactly what he does. Operation Epic Fury is destroying Iran's nuclear threat. The SAVE Act is securing our elections, and our enemies, foreign and domestic, in absolute meltdown. So make sure you are subscribed to our raw feed system. Text raw feed to 840-4963. We want to make sure you get the classified intel that we can distribute to you directly from the newsroom. And share this video with every patriot that you know. They need to see what's really happening. And drop a comment below. Do you support President Trump's decisive action against Iran? Simple yes or no. And hey, show your American pride. Check out the Next News merch shop below this video. Hit the bell, subscribe, because the truth is not stopping. I'm Gary Franchi. Stay informed and stay free.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.